Tell me you really feel, cause I just wanna build with you. Black girl, tell me how you really feel. I just wanna keep it real with you. Yeah, I wanna live better, eat better. I wanna love better, sleep better. Yeah, I wanna feel so aligned. Sublime. Sublime. I wanna live better, eat better. Sublime. 1 time for elevated rhymes, 2 times for showmanship, 3 times for black hands and land ownership. Revolution I bring to you, wedding ring bling to you. Nisi blues on war tunes, singing to you. I am the rebel without a pause, no applause. Trust me, I am Chuck D, getting mine off. Many fools, they clock watching my moves, and I needed a reappraisal of flavor. Took some time off now. Back Jesus, black fetus, slumbering unborn. Ark of the covenant, curtain untorn. I'm the rose that rose the etches prose in Rosetta Stone. Still yelling it through a megaphone. Always repping, baby, forever home. I ain't the pot calling the kettle black. I am the flame keeping the kettle warm. I'm to blame for the renaissance that's cold. I write and recite it with down feathers on. I love you and write and recite it with down feathers on. That mean that shit cold. And I'm the coldest. Listen, this the message right here. Black boy, tell me how you really feel. Cause I just wanna build with you. Black girl, tell me how you really feel. I wanna keep it real with you. I wanna live better, eat better. I wanna love better, sleep better. Yeah, I wanna feel so aligned. Sublime. Y'all give a round of applause to this band right now. When they tell me they want to feel the chords a little more than we got.
Hello. What's up, family? Welcome. I know y'all must be wondering why my camera's off, but long story short, I've been going through it this week. I woke up Sunday and my back tooth started bothering me. And I had to make a dentist appointment, like a emergency dentist appointment. And, they figured out what the problem is, so I have to go back next week to get it taken care of. So I won't be as long-winded tonight. I'm going to let Mr. James and his lady die. I'm going to let them kind of quarterback this football game. And I'm going to do my best to kind of keep everything, on track. If you're joining us from Lady Di's channel, welcome. Thank you for being here. We are using this opportunity to revisit James and his wife's episode of the Black Marriage Masterclass. So we're going to be talking about that episode. We're going to be allowing them the opportunity to elaborate on whatever it is we didn't touch on, to clarify things, to address the comment section, and also, if they're up to it, to actually talk directly to those of you who might be interested in their advice, their insight, and the whole nine. So y'all stick around. Down the line, we'll drop the link for you guys to be able to come up. So again, thank you for being here. Let's start by doing like a shortened version of announcements and recaps for this week. But real quick, let me see who's in the building. Slash, I saw your comment first, man. He says, good evening, Mr. Obi. I am active duty Army, and this is my first live. I'm watching with my section, and we all love your show. # Army Strong. Shout out to you, man, and thank you for your service. It means a lot that you guys are here and you guys are watching. So shout out to you guys, and please take care of yourselves, please. Kenny Boy, I see you. Knowledge and Relationships. Paul Arthur, Eugene Steele, the GOAT, AKO, I see you. Thank you so much for being here, brother. And Mr. Paul Arthur once again. All right, so let us start here. So this week, as always, we dropped some videos. This week, I actually did 3 videos instead of 2. I dropped 1 video on Tuesday. 2 videos on Tuesday and 1 video on Wednesday, featuring this lovely couple. The lovely couple in question is Mr. Sean and his lovely wife, Clarissa, and Sean is It's Scary to Remarry. That's his brand. So shout out to him, and make sure to go check out his YouTube channel. But basically, they came all the way down from Houston, Texas, and we sat down, and they graced my cameras and my microphone with wisdom, with insight, with experience. So shout out to them. But if you haven't seen their episode, I dropped an episode featuring both of them, kind of telling their stories, and then I split it up for the second half with a version of just Clarissa and then a version with just Sean. So, matter of fact, So this is them together, then Clarissa, and then just Sean. So y'all go help us out, run those numbers up. Clarissa is beating Sean right now, but go help the brother out, and also the one where they were together, go run those up as well. But so basically we talked about similar things that we talked about with James and Lady Di, and also with the first James and Yolanda. So it was similar questions, but obviously they took it three different places because each man is different, each woman is different, and each of their stories of how they found each other are different as well. So y'all make sure to go check that out. I'm gonna just skim over these, but oftentimes during the week, I'll post surveys or thoughts that I have. So, just make sure you stay tuned. I wanted to get an idea of what series that you guys were kind of the most enthusiastic about, and still, it seems to be the case that the Kevin Samuel series is the most popular, with the Black Marriage Masterclass being number 2. Numbers-wise, Black Marriage Masterclass is actually number 3, but I've been hearing a lot of people are enthusiastic about what it represents and what it means. So, again, y'all make sure to go check it out, go run those numbers up, and help me continue to make these things happen. All right, so before we get started, like I've been talking about for a while, the new series, the Traveling Podcast, I actually did the first episode this week. So I was in Atlanta Sunday and Monday, and we collaborated with the Honey Hair brand and this is their website if you want to check them out. But we collaborated with the Honey Hair brand to have a conversation, a dialogue about hair, and more specifically, Black women's relationship with their hair. So that's going to be dropping either this Sunday or Monday. I wanted to drop it in advance for Valentine's Day. So if any of our female viewers or male viewers wanted to, patronize this Black-owned business, they could do so. And I'm actually working on a unique coupon code for us as well. So you guys stay tuned. Like I said, it's the Honey Hair brand, and that particular production that we did with them should be dropping here shortly. And I'll include all the details for discounts and the whole nine. So again, y'all stay tuned. All right. Those are all the Sunday announcements. Let me make sure. Yep, I think those are all the Sunday announcements. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up our guests, and we're going to get started. We're going to start cooking. But yeah, I bring to you guys Mr. James and Lady Di. How you guys doing?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Up?
Man, I wish I was feeling better, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's good to see you guys. How's your week been?
Busy. It's been crazy this week. We've been trying to get a lot of things accomplished behind the scenes, but it's been crazy. We gonna get there too, man. So we ain't as bad as you are right now. I know how that pain. I know that pain you feeling, but
Yeah, man. I appreciate it though. I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, so where I like to start, and obviously we're also broadcasting on your channel, so I'm assuming that the people watching have also like watched not just the entire video with both of you guys, but also the short version with just James. What's the feedback been like since these videos premiered?
A lot of people are saying they really like it, and that we did a good job, I guess, with expressing and explaining, being transparent. Especially James. See, I didn't even know he was going to be saying all that. If you notice in my segment, I was like trying to speak about us, but in a general sense. He went all in full detail. I was like,
Right,
why
right.
you say all that?
She always be like hitting me like, "Hey, you saying too much?" Cause I'm an open book, man. So
Right,
I think
right.
like the best way I learn from like listening to other people, like elders or I mean anybody I'm talking to, is if they gave me like a real example, I can like, okay, I see where you're coming from now. But they just kind of speaking in general, I don't really learn that way. So
Right.
that's why I kind of like try to like put out like real stuff, so people can like, even though I might have messed up or they might have messed up, they can still learn something from it.
Absolutely. You know what's interesting since I've been doing this Black Marriage Masterclass and we're up to episode 3. Obviously, you guys were episode 2. The person who reaches out to me, the person who's actually media trained, was always beat out by the other person. So with episode 1, it was James and Yolanda. James is the media trained person. Yolanda had the better segment. In your case, James had the better segment. In episode 3, Clarissa had the better segment. Why do you think that is? Like, the person who kind of just was the, I guess, the sidekick from a YouTube perspective
Yeah.
was the person who kind of took off.
So for me, I'm on the creative side, right? So I see stuff in a different view,
Nope.
and I like to cater to my audience in a different way. Now, there's times I am personal, but I don't make
Yeah.
everything personal because I try to make sure that I can reach, as much as I can. And
Right.
I share the personal stuff when I feel that it's appropriate or right. At the same time, my life is also everyone else's life. So if I start putting in names into my stories, I gotta get yelled at after that. You feel me?
Yeah.
This
Right.
one,
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, yo, somebody gonna come and get you after this one. I'm like, go call your mother. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, you just spreaded all of this knowledge, but then it's someone else's story. So that's just for me. I do all of the YouTube stuff. He doesn't. He does
Right.
some of the things, but I do it all.
Yeah.
Right.
I always been like an outspoken person too, as well. So like I just basically tell you how I get. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. So I think it's just like in my personality of just, hey, let's be real. Everything's on the table, and you're gonna get it how you live. So people like always like that too. Even when I'm at work, my wife be like,
Oh my
when I
gosh.
be talking to some of the people at work, she like, you saying that to them? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. Right.
like she be like, what's wrong with you?
You ain't you ain't get fired yet? I was
Right.
like, yo.
No, that's life though. That's like, and I think you and I talked about it briefly, Lady Di, but like with YouTube and social media becoming so like oversaturated, authenticity is really gonna win moving forward. So
True.
you need to put James in more of these videos, man.
I do.
Yeah.
James is your sleeper agent. I'm telling you.
Man, she got like some videos she need to edit, whatever. She be
See?
doing all that.
That type of stuff.
I be telling her like, hey, post my video. She be like, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it.
But see
I'm gonna
why?
learn how to do it as soon. Like,
But why you gotta tell them that? You see, that's what I'm talking about. He'll say, "Oh, we just prepared for a live on the live." I'm like, oh.
Right.
she acting like she be having everything together. And she be
I
like,
do, because it's face. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, she's real
Well,
good
I-
though. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, no. All I was gonna ask was, I think this kind of banter brings up a really good point. One of the questions I get a lot for the series is conflict resolution. So with two people with different personality types, with different quirks, with different pet peeves and things like that, how have you guys been able to make it work and sustain for 6 going on 7 years now?
I think a lot of grace, honestly. Like, just kind of, she hate this. Like, when she like full screen, no, she laugh. But like, I think it's like more of grace and kind of understanding the person. Sometimes we all make mistakes. Like even the other day, like she was kind of getting on my nerves, but you know what I'm saying. But she hate this too. But it's just what I mean, us being willing to, hey, it's gonna work out no matter what. You know what I mean? We're gonna be there together. As long as we don't cross no lines, we good. We know we can be able to talk it out and come back to the table and make sure, you know what I mean, our families to stay together. So
Yeah, I think our end goal is what helps us stay, committed and make sure that we don't, cross or, step on each other's toes, I should say. Um, it's I would say it's a lot of work to, I guess, stay consistent. I believe that in a marriage you change for the better, right? So if you had bad habits that can hinder your relationship, you got to get rid of them. You have to be a new person. I wouldn't say a different person because your old person will come out eventually. I believe you have to just be new, and have a different mindset in the marriage and look at it as this is not going to end. And then you carry everything you do, you will carry it that way. So if any little or big problem happens, you will always remember we not going nowhere. So your decision making on what you say next is going to determine on your mind. So if you like, I could divorce him tomorrow, or matter of fact, I don't even like her like that no more, whatever the case is that's negative, what comes out of your mouth is going to show it. It's going to express that. Your body language is going to express that. So that's why in your mind, you always say, this is not going to end. And then moving forward, you will see the results. And then a lot of, happiness will come out. You have better moments and you'll work out issues faster. Some people like to prolong issues, right? Because they're like, whatever, she'll get over it. No, you need to handle it then. You don't want to have things lingering. That's not what a healthy marriage looks like. So as long as you, appropriately resolve your issues, at a decent time, it will work itself out.
yeah, and also
For us, that's how it's been.
yeah, and also we have a lot of people depending on us too as well. Like
What, our kids?
The kids, family members.
Okay.
Like we have we have like a lot of we like role models to like a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we want to have a marriage like you guys. Like we want to, so we got to make sure we hold that standard up and then be willing to help them when they going through their issues and make sure we there. We've been doing this for years, honestly. And we just kind of like more on the forefront because we just got done having all our kids, but so now we got more time to actually like be here,
Right.
like honestly. So yeah,
Like we have kids 2 years apart.
yeah.
So
she was like, if she wasn't, she was pregnant like every 5 minutes. It seemed.
so let me tell you, I was pregnant 2 months after we got married, and it was not planned that way. It just happened that way. So I've been pregnant since we've been married, but since the first, like I said, the first 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess the theme of you guys' episode was the fact that James had been married before. And we kind of talked about how not only did that, lead him to you, but also how it affected the way that he planned and structured, and you guys planned and structured your relationship. So for you, Lady Dot, what's that been like? Since this is your first marriage, it's his second. What was the process of getting to know James, working with James, and growing with James to this point?
So I'm laughing because that part was hard. So I'm about to express
now she want to open up
because it's like I can't escape this question. I don't think I ever shared this part. So I would say it was hard because in reality, I always wanted to be someone's first anything, right? As far as marriage go, because the things that he had before me is always going to be like that. I'm talking about marriage, right? So I'm coming right after somebody, meaning when someone's married, they have their own place, they have their own cars, they have their own furniture, whatever the case is. Now I feel like I'm on someone's sloppy seconds, literally, because I'm going into a house where someone sat at. You feel me? I'm crazy like that. So I'm like, she was here, we did move. I'm not saying we stayed in the same spot, but at that time, the first, I think it was like 7 months. I was in a space where this lady was at, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of. Was she? No, she wasn't at that space. Okay, well, the furniture.
See, she making stuff
I'm
up.
sorry, it wasn't the place.
Y'all hear this?
It was the furniture. He's not gonna get new furniture because he's getting with
the furniture.
I'm being real.
Women,
Then she
boy.
sit on that couch.
Exactly. She was sitting on the couch. She was sitting here. She was there. She was there. She used this blanket,
Oh my God.
crazy stuff. And I'm like, no, we're gonna get new stuff eventually. I don't want to have someone's, second time of something. So that was hard.
Thank you, Bethany. That's what I'm saying.
What she said, Bethany says the second time works out better because you learn from your mistakes.
Facts.
I'm the second wife as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You see how happy she looked? You see that? It's like, see.
I agree. But the transition was hard. Like, I did get over it. That was just silly stuff. I don't even think I told him, honestly. I kept it to myself. And that's another thing too.
Keeping secrets.
Just a note to any woman: your man does not have to know everything. Because I'm talking, I'm talking about silly stuff. You heard what I said. I said she sat here, she laid, she had this item. Does he have to know that? Because what's going to cause, he might not understand.
Yeah.
I'm a female, so I think in a certain way, and then I'm me, right? So if I express these weird things to him, he's gonna look at me like I'm crazy, one, or it might cause an argument because he'll be like, well, she ain't here now. You want her to come back, that type of stuff. So it's like you don't want to give a problem that's not a problem. Yeah. So I had to work on that issue on my own. So it was rough. Long story short.
That's why you was acting that way. Okay. All right.
Well, all right. So let me throw this one to James. This is from Bria Spires. She says, "If you didn't answer this already, how does James feel about you being in the YouTube space?" So, James, how do you feel about Lady Di being so visible and outspoken?
Bria, I like that you asked that question. Yeah, that was different. Yeah. And I see you a lot in the comments.
No. Okay. But yeah, no. I love it. Because it's giving like today's women like a perspective, because we always have, like, me and her always have these conversations for years now, and like trying to get her to understand like where men are coming from, and then she understanding like balancing the two. So it's like now she kind of understand, like I call her the man whisperer, so like she can understand like exactly what a man is coming from, and she still understand like where the lady's coming from, and it kind of give her like a good balance. So like me actually putting her out there was just to show her talent, just to show like, hey, women, you can be this way and be successful in a marriage, and you can actually be winning rather than doing what you're doing now. You thinking you winning, and you actually get a lot more out of men acting a certain way or being a certain way, and you have a happy relationship, So like with her, like doing the things she done in our relationship, it allowed me to go out and do more business, allowed me to go out and be more happier and teach other people and show them like, hey, look, like we good, like, and you can have this too as well. You just got to put in the work and to understand the opposite gender, and you'll be okay. We don't have too many examples of that today, especially at her age. So that's why I was like, hey, going out there, because I was working and she wasn't working at the time. So so I was like, she had a lot more time to be free, and she did a great job. Look at how our channel grew in the last 4 months. So so she's been doing a great job with that. That's a talent.
Absolutely. If you guys are watching from We Need to Talk, please head over to Lady Di's channel, click that subscribe button. I've been saying for a while that if we spent as much energy rewarding the behavior we wanted to see more of, instead of simply bashing the behavior we didn't like, we'd be able to move in the right direction as a people. Exactly. So if we want to see more Lady Di's, we need to support the ones that are available to us. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all for real. But before we get into the comment section, because I like to go through the comment sections, and we like to stop at comments that jump out at us and talk about it. Is there anything that comes to mind immediately that you feel like maybe was misrepresented during our interview, or something you wanted to clarify, or something that you wanted to add to, take away from? Either one of y'all.
I don't know. I don't think so. Honestly, not jumping. I got a bad memory, man. So I'm just being honest with you.
Honestly, being that you decided to have us record privately was was not what I expected, but it was cool
Mm,
because when you published it, the stuff I didn't say, he said, and it like matched perfectly, which was the
mm.
weirdest thing. So
That's beautiful.
because it happened that way, honestly, I would say no because, like I said, I'm not as transparent as he is. So we needed that extra cherry on top, is what I would call it, to display more of our message in a better way, so it could be more diverse and to hit more people. So actually, I actually love this segment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for me, what jumped out was pretty much how you guys met. And, you know, if I remember correctly, you guys met close to the ending of both of your prior relationships. So, how do you think that can help other people who might be watching and they might be interested in, taking their lives, taking their love lives to the next level? How do they know if the person that they're currently with is the person they need to focus on, or if they need to, you know, start looking elsewhere?
I think if you're in a relationship, you need to be all in that relationship and try to make it work. I think a lot of times we quit too easily, and we just kind of just give up and just try to run away to the next person. So I would say, for the people that's looking outside, just to stay there in that relationship. But if you see like obviously red flags or abuse or something like that, all right, now it's time to go. But I was that's what I would say like first. But
I
yeah, you go ahead. You go
I
ahead.
would say how you know is this is so I'm gonna give you what happened to me, right? So my previous engagement, I was engaged before James. My previous engagement with a guy, what let me know that he wasn't the one anymore was that he had red flags, but the red flags were selfish. He never, at one point, like towards the end, he never included me into his plans. So if I'm not in your plans, then who is? Because if it ain't me, then is it the wall? Like, is it your phone? Is it your mom, your dad? Because if it's not me, then why am I here? So you always want to make sure the person that you with has your best interest and you're included into everything that they do. If they don't, you already know they're not there for you. So why waste your time? That's one way you could figure out if someone really wants to be with you versus someone who's wasting your time, because people love to waste time. They love to be with multiple people and play a game because they're trying to see either who they want to be with or they just not ready to settle down. And when people are not ready to settle down, they still like to mix their space into other people's spaces. If you ain't ready to settle down, then be by yourself. You don't have to include multiple people just to get off on what. So you have to recognize the people who are not ready to be in a exclusive relationship. So selfishness is what you need to look for as a red flag.
And I believe I asked both of you this during the interview, but I want to ask it again. How did each of you know that you were ready to settle down? You were ready to be a husband. You were ready to be a wife. How did you guys actually know?
I felt like that. I was always like that, even like growing up, like seeing my mom, my stepdad, and then my dad was also married, But it's always wanted that family structure. So I was just one of those guys, like from a young age, that always wanted like a long relationship, that always wanted to be with somebody, like to die with somebody type of deal. So that's why that's what pushed me, and it kind of gave continue to give me hope, because I seen my mom, and they was married almost 30 years, so I seen it in full effect, and I seen it actually work, and I seen them actually benefit from it, and like able to like be successful and be able to get a lot accomplished together. So that's why I was like, hey, let me find my woman. We're gonna get some things together. It's gonna be hard at the beginning because we started from the bottom, but at the end of the day, we're gonna make it out together. So yeah.
How I knew was that every time me and James was, and this is from the beginning, he treated me like his wife from the first day.
Yeah, I told her that too.
Yeah, which was not saying that the person I with was for before didn't treat me like that. But his was like to a grown man level. Like, you are mine. This is what we're doing. You're in all plans, even if it wasn't even about him. He made sure that I was good at all times, and that was from day one. Very caring, very considerate, just something I've never seen before, like, you know, with me in this space. So that let me know that he was ready. And then that let me know that I need to be ready because I'm having someone taking me seriously to the next level. This is the level of marriage. So it made me be like, okay, yeah. So this is what I want to do. He seems like the good fit. I'm not going to be scared to waste my time, because that's how it goes in the dating world. And let me give this a fair shot. So that's how I knew.
And she also was telling me things like, because I used to tell her certain stuff. And then she was just like, no, God never told me this, blah, 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 and all this crap, right? And I'd be like, because you never was with a man before. Like, you was with little boys. So,
Yeah.
so I used to always have to, like, you know what I'm saying? Because, of course, like, guys just not going to, you know what I mean, up front, because they scared to lose you. They scared to, you know what I mean? They scared to step on your toes type of deal. But I knew, like, this is not going to be beneficial to the relationship, you acting this way. So I had to be up front and tell her. So I knew because I seen good qualities in her from before. So I already knew like she can get to that level. She just needed like a little coach. You know how like when you at like you playing basketball and your coach, you know what I mean? Hey, just fix your wrist a little bit before you shoot. You know what I'm saying? And you know, because the person can shoot, he know you can shoot. Just fix your wrist up, a little critique, and then she was good. So
there was one thing he just helped me remember in the video that I wanted him to clarify. You asked him a question that he took in a different space that I don't think he understood you. The question was, how did you know Lady Di was your wife or going to be your wife? Right? Remember that question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually about to ask it again.
okay.
Well, so let me rephrase it. So the way I was going to ask it to you, James, is, you know, around the manosphere, a common thing that kind of comes up is that a lot of women want weddings but not marriages.
Yeah.
So how did you know that Lady Di didn't just want a wedding, but she wanted to be a wife?
It was just a character that she had, and things she showed me. She showed me like a lot of good, like I said earlier, like a lot of good qualities that I would want in a woman. So she was already past my ex-wife without her even knowing how she was. So you know what I mean? So, yeah, so I seen that and I was just like, okay, you know what I mean? I can work with this. And then I seen how like she was handling getting out the relationships like that she was in, and like all the drama he was trying to like put on her, and she wasn't like going for it. And I was like, okay, she's not drama filled. So I was like, a woman that's not drama filled in today's time, I'm like, hey, I'm already winning. You know, so that was like major. So I was like, I can work with this, I can work with her. I know she's gonna have to work with me on certain things, and I knew we was gonna be good after that.
Yeah, no, definitely that's solid. Now, Lady Di, I'm gonna flip it on you. One of the things I've been talking about. I don't know if you've seen. I think it was 2 episodes back on the series Listen to Black Men. I interviewed a friend of mine named Corey Jones, and Corey got married really young, and his wife cheated on him, and that kind of led to where he is now. So his story was also a little bit similar to James in the sense that he always wanted to be a husband. He always wanted to do right by a woman. So for you, how did you know that James was ready to actually be a husband and not just idealizing the institution of marriage?
That's a deep question.
Say the right answer.
So at one point, I was confused on if it was because he wanted me there because he had a son, right? So he wants a mom, right? So in order to have a mom, in his eyes, you got to have a wife. So at first, I thought it was just that. It's all about his kid, right? See, he never heard this because no one ever asked. But I thought it was just about his kid. Like, okay, cool, but that's not my kid. I'm someone different, right? So how am I going to be included without it always being wrapped around being someone's mother, right? So after I realized it wasn't just about his son, because he was supporting me very well. Like, so I used to model back in the day, and there were times where he would always be there recording, helping me get ready, always with the setup. I used to be a dance choreographer. He was always there, you know, giving me ideas, or, you know, wear this, do that, or no, don't do this, don't do that. Like, after his hard working day, he's like working again with me, and I never asked him. And I'm like, wow, so this has nothing to do with his child. This has everything to do with me. So I liked how very inclusive he was with me. Very, it just wasn't about him all the time. So that character showed me that he was ready to be my husband, because a husband supports their wife, right? So if it's not just about what his needs are, but it's about my needs, that's the total package. So that's how I knew.
That's interesting. James, how do you feel about that? Because apparently it's the first time you guys are having this convo.
No, she's spot on, and I think what helped me out through like the years was like I was raised by my stepdad. Like I had my dad in my life, but I was in the house with my stepdad, so I knew that step parents can be important into the kid's life. So that's why I
Right.
wanted to make sure, like, hey, she knew she was supported. She knew like both of us was there, because you know I was doing the single dad thing at the time, but she knew like both of us was there to help her through her stuff. Like we got pictures. Probably show it one day. Like like my son there with me, and you know what I mean, like supporting her and stuff. And you know what I mean, it just wanted to make sure like we was all family. You know, so that was one major thing. Like I'm real big on family. I'm from the South too, so you know, like we'll do anything for our family. We'll die for our family. So I wanted to give her that same respect, that same love, because you know, what I mean, her family's from New York. You know, it's a little bit different, but that how they look at family up there. But I wanted to make sure she got that feeling too.
No, it's not a New York thing. It's just a personal family thing. Some families just have drama, you know what I'm saying? So
No, that's real. That's real. Let me ask y'all this, and I think it also came up during the interview. But we talked about nice guys finishing last, nice girls finishing last. What is you guys' take on that, and kind of what would your advice be to other people who might be similar to the both of you, who might not be having the type of outcome that you were able to get? Like what how should they be thinking about being a nice girl or being a nice guy?
so I'll speak for the woman dating the man. So you have the nice guy. I've heard women literally break up with the guy because he's too nice, divorce him because he's too nice, because too nice ends up being too boring. I think that I'm not saying everybody is right for each other, but if you have a man who is going to commit to you, who's going to be loyal to you, he's going to support you, and all of those important factors, then him being too nice, I don't think should be like a red flag. There's nothing there's nothing wrong with someone being nice. You want them to be nice, because if you have the opposite, then you're going to complain. And you know, so I believe you should definitely look at what's better, and maybe write it down. All the great things that this person has. I mean, this is so old school, but it works. All the great things that this person has, all the little things that you don't like, right? Or that he has a flaw in, because you have flaws and you have things that you don't like. They're two different things. Flaws is like if somebody has an anger issue. What you don't like is that he's not light skinned or whatever, right? So you have to now look at the list, be realistic in your brain, and be like, okay, well, wants, needs, then that's another list. Because if these other things are higher, then you need to go with that bigger picture. A lot of people look at the smallest scale and then they move with it. And then they wonder why relationships are not working or they're not married. I think that we're putting too much emphasis on a nice guy, boring guy, or don't look at it like that. You got to look at, is that person going to be there for you between now and when you guys grow old? That's what you want.
James, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, she and I was gonna say she actually did that. She actually wrote a list out for us. She didn't, you see how she didn't put that in, right? But
I did towards before we got so we got married in a December. I wrote this list in like July. So but go ahead.
but yeah,
Wow.
but like so I think in today's time, I think we are trying to out oppress one another. So everybody want to be oppressed, and I feel like today, or want to be like play victim or be a victim. So like, to the point that we want, instead of us having like this good guy, the safe person, we want to get with the bad person just so we can say, look at me, look what happened to me, and this is the reason why I act the way I do, rather than just getting with the good person, having a steady relationship, building, and actually having something that your your grandkids or your kids can build on. And that's what I was never, wanted to be like only reason why, honestly, I'll tell you this, only reason why I got with my first wife, because I was raised in the hood, that's all we knew. So I didn't know it was other types of women out there, so if I would have knew that, I definitely wouldn't have been in that situation. But you live and you learn. But it's like we just trying to, hey, I'm oppressed, I'm saying, my oppression is better than you, like, oh, I'm a black man, we get killed by the police, it's always something extra, that we want to play victim with. And I think people love that attention, and people love that negative energy too much, that is destroying us as a people.
That's very true. That's very true. If you guys are just joining us, welcome. This is We Need to Talk Live. We are featuring Lady Di and James as they revisit their episode of the Black Marriage Masterclass. If you haven't seen that episode, it's linked in the description, so be sure to check that out after this stream. But yeah, welcome. I know some of you guys are watching from Dating to Marriage Support. Welcome to you guys as well. So yeah, if you guys are ready, we can jump into the comment section and see what's going on in there. The
Yeah, that's
wasteland
gonna
that
be
is the
interesting.
comment section. Let's do it.
It's gonna be good.
Let's do it. All right. So, I go through the comments a lot. And then sometimes I stop going through it for my mental health because you see some really good stuff, and then you see some other stuff like, yo, who was your English teacher, or what I'm saying, who was your therapist? But I will say the overwhelming kind of sentiment that I've been seeing around this particular series and y'all's particular episode has been really, really good. The comment at the top, I actually pinned it at the top, is from brother Alex Miner. He says, if you'd been making these videos 5 years ago, you might have saved my marriage.
Yeah.
What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Yeah, honestly, like we saved a lot of people's marriage. Honestly, like just talking to them offline, and like this is because it's a lot of people just don't have all the tools, because we wasn't taught. It's kind of like you need a drill, but you only got a screwdriver. Yeah, the screwdriver will work, but it's gonna take you forever. So since we kind of been through a lot of stuff, we have a lot of experiences. I'm from the South, from the North. I seen 30-year marriages. I seen people, go through it, and I've been through it. So it's like all the experiences that we have to and put together. It just make it so much easier. And how the way I said, she understand men, and like she can actually talk to guys and help them out to understand what their woman is saying, and then she can relate to them of how they feeling too as well. So like with my wife, whatever, it's kind of like the perfect couple to help couples.
Yeah, because we give, I guess what you're trying to say, we give more of that balance approach. Because, a lot of, or I should say, some people are very one-sided, but, we like to consider both parties because both are equally important. I don't want to say one is better than the other, because without the other, it ain't going to be that person doing much of anything. So I think that comment really speaks volumes, and it's kind of sad at the same time. Because that's what YouTube is for. YouTube is supposed to be able to share real life experiences besides the trolls, but they're supposed to share real life experiences. We learn so much on YouTube with just fixing things, or simple stuff like that. that, this platform could be, for relationships and couples. So it's good, even though he said 5 years ago, it's good that you're doing it now, Alan, honestly. And I think you definitely should continue. But that's why we're here too, because we noticed that there are many couples that are trying to find the right ways to, conduct their marriage. And I'm not saying we're perfect by any means, but
we perfect.
because before we've gotten married, it wasn't like this. So so this is the difference I see between us and some married couples. We actually been through hell in our relationship. Literally, like, we were the ones that, or let's say I was the one leaving, coming back, leaving, coming back, right? That's not healthy. I don't suggest anybody doing that. And that was how our first 3 years were. And that's why it took us 3.5 years to get married, because of that, let's say, one of those things going back and forth. So we actually seen each other's worst, crying, all that type of stuff together. Like, I'm being real. Like, we seen each other's worst in our relationship. We knew at that point we can never cross this again. How are we not going to do that? This is what we're going to do. And then we collectively collaborated on that, and then practiced it. Once he knew that our practice was working, I was very serious about making myself better. He was very serious on making himself better. Then he proposed to me, right? And then we got married. So I think a lot of couples don't take that step before they get married. It's more like, "Ooh, I'm in love." And then, but y'all didn't go through nothing yet. I'm not saying anybody got to go through a struggle, but I don't care how much you guys think y'all get along or have things in common. Not one person is going to have it all together, because it's still two different people. So you have to go through something. You got to see these things out of people before you sit there and say, I'm going to marry them. And that's the biggest step most people miss. They get married and then they go through that crap in the marriage. So imagine me and him getting married a year in the relationship.
And she leaving.
You see how I was leaving in the relationship? I would have separated, went back to the marriage, separated, literally filing this paperwork. But that's not healthy. So I believe, make sure that before you get married, you've seen each other's good and bad. You want to see it. You want to know what you're getting into, so you know how to address it if it comes up again.
One of the reasons I started this series and I called it Black Marriage Masterclass is because, with Black love in particular and Black companionship in particular, there's so many layers, right? There's so many reasons why we have a more complicated time getting together and staying together. Yeah. What do you guys think some of those reasons are, and why do you think it's so important to, Q Maurice, I think is his name, to his point, we need to see more people, more Black people struggling through it, as opposed to just single people just talking about theory. Why do you guys think that Black love is such a difficult endeavor?
I think number one, so we have this thing in our community that, like, our women want us to be leaders, or they want us to be leaders, right? So I think in today, like, men have to get like a lot of grace, because men never really get grace at all. But I think a lot of men are raised by their mom. So if you're raised by your mom, who's gonna teach you how to be a man, right? So if you getting with this guy, you already know. Luckily, I have my stepdad and my dad, so I was able to kind of teach my wife, like, no, you got to be like this, got to be like this, right? But you have to let the men lead, because just like in the organization, right? If I'm a owner of this company and there's no leader in this company, I'm just doing whatever and I'm just letting y'all do whatever, the company is going to fail, right? So if you understand, like, hey, we established the leadership, right? If every time he mess up, you have the right to tell him, hey, you messed up, whatever, but you have to do it in a respectful way, right? Just like when you go to your boss, if your boss mess up, you're not going to go there and disrespect him. You're just going to tell him, like, hey, this is not blah, 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 blah. And then cool. And then he can address that situation. Like, especially if it's in a relationship now, that person's going to show you that he loves you. So he's going to listen with an open ear for the most part. But if you coming off aggressive and you coming off like mean, men are gonna think you want to fight. Like, and that's like even with me and my wife, like we first got together, I used to tell her, hey, she know what I'm about to say. I used to tell her, hey, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not happy, the word they changed. I want a woman, I don't want a man type
there
of
we
deal.
go. He said that I was acting like a man. I'm like,
and she was confused.
You
like,
see how I dress? What do you mean? So
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to say to that part, he used to tell me that I was acting like a man for a while, right? And then, I mean, I don't want to bring his name up, but I am, because most people watch his videos. Kevin Samuels, right? There was a point in his segments where he was telling women that they were masculine. And I would look at his videos like, where is she masculine? I don't understand. So one particular video finally made me understood what that meant and what that actually looked like. And I was like, damn, he was telling me this a long time ago.
Yep.
And I never got it because he's just telling me. When I was watching that video, I was able to see it and hear the dialects, hear what was actually being what's happening. And that definitely made me understand there's two different types of feminine women. Feminine how they look, and then feminine out their mouth. Mm-hmm. So I learned that in our marriage, actually.
Yeah. And once you kind of
go ahead, brother.
Yeah, once you kind of change that, like the communication barrier starts to get better. So men will be able to be more open, right? Because like say if me and a guy are arguing, I'm not going to be open up to him. You know what I mean? Because he's looking for a weakness so he can jump on me, right? So I'm going to make sure my guard is up. So a lot of women want men to put their guard down without coming to them respectful and as a woman. Because if you come as a woman, you're going to get everything you want out of that man. Anything. A woman can get anything she want out of a man if she come and have that feminine energy. And a lot of women don't understand that because they wasn't taught that. So now men have to give the women grace saying, hey, they wasn't taught that, just like I had to give my wife. I had to give her certain graces and try to teach her, try to work with her because I seen the good characters that she had. And then after that, you know what I mean, things got a lot better. So
yeah. And just quickly, I'll say that I think in Black love, Black relationships, Black marriages, a lot of I've seen people like to just compete too much.
Ego.
Oh, so say ego. So ego I believe too. Just keep that ego back there. If you're sleeping with somebody, and I'm talking about literally, and you're in the bed sleeping with them, cuddling and all that type of stuff, you can't sit here and be their enemy when you wake up. Doesn't make sense. Make sure if you're gonna be that connected with somebody, that's the only person you're gonna be connected with. You're not gonna be like that with your parents. I mean, you could get away with it with your kids, but it's still not gonna be to the level of what married people do, right? So you have to remember that when you are looking at that person. I think people don't see that. Oh, I go home to you at the end of the day. We have to sleep in the same bed at the end of the day. Even if you don't sleep in the same bed, y'all sharing a house at the end of the day. Yep. You see this person all, at least after work for a long period of time, naked and everything. So how can you look at this person like that is the person, you know what, he's annoying, or, she's a headache. Yep. You got to look at this person like the only person you could look at in a way of, wow, this is me, right? And let me make sure we work on each other.
And how we look. Yeah.
And how we,
Yeah, people be talking crap. They got guns in the house and stuff. People be talking crap. I'm like, y'all crazy.
Mm-hmm. So, I also want to ask another question that I asked during the interview again. What is something you guys, so James, you've learned about women, and Lady Di, you've learned about men since being married as long as you guys have. Something that is, left field, something most people wouldn't assume.
Let me see. I got to think on this one.
Assume about
like women, like something that I learned about women that a lot of people wouldn't really think about. Let's see. Because I know like a lot of people have like the talking points and things like.
Don't say talking points.
No, I'm not going to say.
No, I'm saying don't even say talking points. This YouTube thing, they be coming up with these terms. Like we just speaking real stuff. Ain't no talking point.
Yeah.
Everybody ain't real. I will say that.
Yeah, facts. I would say something else that I didn't say because I remember on the video I was saying like men look more big picture, women look more smaller picture. But I would say
For women that you notice.
something else. I think women. So to women of today, they care too much, but they don't care too much. And I know it sounds confusing. So they care so much that they will put all their energy into the wrong person, right? So that's why I say they don't care too much, because they don't care about themselves enough, right? Because if they care about themselves enough, they will put that good energy into that good man, that boring guy, that nerd guy that they didn't want. So they care too much, so they will put all their hard work and their effort into this man, and knowing that that man ain't nothing, rather than caring about themselves and putting it into somebody that's going to be productive, somebody that's going to get them somewhere, someone's going to give them the life that they want. So that's one thing I noticed.
That's
Lady
true.
Di?
That's all
So you supposed to be thinking.
I was, but I'm real goofy sometimes. So if I smile, it's because that's just me. But so for a man, I believe
we're number one. No, I'm joking.
I believe that men should be. Oh, this is what it is. And I think I said this on the show, like the intelligence part. I never realized. I mean, I wanted an intelligent man, but I never realized that a lot of y'all are like that. Like for real. Like even you, Alan, you're intelligent, right? Most of y'all are just very smart, and it's in a different way. So I learned about the logic and the emotion side. I realized that women are more emotional. I realized that that's another reason why these relationships are not working, because this person's emotional, this person is more logical, and they don't know how to get that together. Like it's very missed. So I learned with men that we should appreciate men more on their knowledge instead of looking at them like they don't know what they're talking about. A lot of women look at men like they don't know what they're talking about. I used to do the same thing. And I'll just say little simple stuff. There was a time with my hair per se when I was going natural. For the women who know what that is, I was going natural years ago. And he told me, and this was in our relationship, he told me, he was like, yeah, don't color your hair. You don't need all that. Yep. And I wasn't comfortable with my hair because my first time going natural. I was like 23 or whatever.
And black men don't like natural hair, right? You hear this? No.
So I didn't listen to him, not because I understood what he said, but I'm like, what do you know? You don't even have hair. See, I'm discrediting his knowledge because I'm looking at him like, how do you know anything about it? So I looked at that as he don't know what he's talking about. And I still got my hair colored and my hair fell out. It shedded for 2 years. So I learned that let me stop looking at him like he don't know what not on everything, but just certain subjects. He don't know what he's talking about. Look at him like if he's gonna actually give me some type of advice, it must be some realness to it. It must be true. It must be factual. Let me go look it up and fact check him if it's that serious and take what he's saying into consideration. So I believe that women should definitely, if their man is saying something to them, listen to them. Because a lot of them actually do know what they're talking about. And after that situation, it happened like 4 or 5 times. And that's how I knew, just before we got married, that I need to always look at a man that wants to tell me something to listen to it, especially, of course, my husband. So that's one thing I wanted to share.
Yeah. I give another example too, as well.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, like, also too. So her listening, kind of helped us out with having the babies. Like, I don't think she'd ever told y'all this, but she had all three of her kids that she pushed out. She had them all natural, like without no pain medicine and nothing. And I told her, hey, you should do this because of, when people get on the
the epidural
or whatever, it slows the pregnancy down. It slows like the contractions and all that type of stuff down. Because I was like researching this stuff, and you had the first baby. It took you like what, 4 hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
So most of the time, it's people like being at 18 hours, 20 hours labor and pushing and stuff. And her first child, she had in like 4 hours. It was like, like it was quick. And I was helping her through, like we went to like a class, we like trained and we did a whole bunch of different things. So it was dope. So yeah, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Real quick, let me read some of these super chats.
Okay.
We got a $5 super chat from Fat Boy for Life. He says, "Like seeing you guys, like seeing you guys, you are much needed in this space." Or I like seeing you guys, I guess.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. James Penn Jr. He says, "Shouts out to the ministry." We got a $4.99 super chat from Corey I March Senior or One March. Anyway, the more masculine a woman displays, the harder her man's heart becomes.
Facts.
Not your fault, but ladies, find, cultivate, and stay in your feminine frame. You want to say something about that, James?
Yeah, that's facts. Like, honestly, like that's coming like because like guys, we care about our women, like especially black men,
Mhm.
we care about black women a lot. And I know a lot of this gender war stuff, they think it's like a war, but we are actually saying this because of like we actually care about you guys. Like a lot of times, black men will still die for you. You know what I mean? But it's gonna be a certain type of woman. Like we don't want our women like out of frame, like he's talking about, because we're not gonna want to protect them. But if I always tell my wife, like always keep that feminine frame and respect all men, because at the end of the day, those men are gonna protect you when I'm not there. You know what I mean? Say if I'm across town and nobody's there, you know what I mean? They're gonna see that she's a feminine woman, and the people are gonna come help her. So I tell her like always keep that frame, be respectful. Don't be disrespectful to nobody. Even if they mess with you or say something, always show respect, because you never know who's watching and who's going to be there to help you out.
And I used to, just to say this real quick, I used to actually do what he was saying, but not knowing why I was doing it. I just didn't feel like if someone's gonna, because living in New York, you come across a whole bunch of people, and for me, it was a lot of men. So they'll say, hey, how you doing? And most people would just be like, f off, or leave me alone, and or just keep walking. So for me, I just was respectful, because I don't know if I'm gonna piss them off because I don't, want to say something back, because people look at it like that. So I was always respectful, but then when he brought it to my attention, what he just said just now, I was like, okay, well, it makes sense, because that is how people will look at you. It's scary though at the same time, because you see there's men attacking women sometimes because they're very masculine, acting like a man. So some men, they're like, well, you want to act like one, I'll treat you like one. There's
Right.
men like that.
Yeah.
You don't know what man you're going to come across like that. So why even risk it? It's not worth it. Don't even be like that with any man. It's not even just your man, any man.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get back into these comments. So Javier Charles, he says, "First, love your content, bruh. I especially enjoyed the black marriage videos. I was hoping someone would do something like this and push successful black marriages to the forefront. Our culture has so many negative and toxic examples. I think content like this content will provide much needed positive energy and examples we need. This one hit close for me. I had a very similar childhood experience and experience in the Army, 21 years. I wish I had a video like this when I was young. I didn't marry my ex like James, but came very close and tolerated a lot that I never should have. Keep up the good work. The culture needs this content." What are y'all's reaction to that comment?
No, I loved it. I love the comment, and I love that that he didn't get married. So he was actually better than me, better man than me. So I respect that, and I respect his service. I respect everything that he stood for with that comment, because we actually do need that, and that's kind of why we are here now today, because we could have been just living our life and having our kids, making videos and joking around with our kids and stuff. But we feel like it'll be more helpful, and I think it'd be better off for the community for us to be here.
And
So
not only better off for the community, but better for our kids, because we're trying to just not only display a good marriage to them, but their community too. Our kids
mhm.
walk out of this house and see reality. So if
Yep.
they don't see more people like us, they're gonna be like, well, our parents, they seem to have it together, but
Yep.
maybe I need to be like this, because I ain't gotta even do this type of work or whatever. However they think, people, kids process stuff differently. So it's like it's community building for our family too.
And we're looking for them a wife right now. So We already
Who got daughters?
So we trying to network. We trying to get them wives. We trying to get them married off. So we gonna show our kids one day. They cute, y'all. I'm telling y'all.
So I see this comment right here from Albert Robinson. He says, "Give sister girl her flowers. She's the creme de la creme. Music to my ears. The gentleman hit the jackpot. God bless you both." Shout out to you, Lady Di.
Thank you.
So what I want to do, I want to. Somebody asked. They said, I looked at the thumbnail and saw something about James going to hell. Is that figurative? So Photo Street, that was the thumbnail for James' portion of the story that I turned into its own video. It's about 4 minutes. If you guys don't mind, I wanted to play it and get your live reaction to the video. And then I wanted to also talk to Lady Di about, how she was able to heal James. Because, brother, you went through it.
Yeah.
You went through it. So, yeah, let me cue that up real quick. All right. And y'all put a thumbs up if you can hear it okay, I believe. Hold on. Let me double check. Okay, we're good.
Employment, probably risk losing my life there. Base getting attacked, all type of stuff, whatever. Trying to fight, and my strength was my wife and my kid at that time. And to come back to seeing that, I even had surgery when I was out there. Once I married her, it was bad, man. Honestly, it was, I knew she wasn't ready, but I was just like, man, maybe she'll get it, as she get older. I should have just stuck to my guns, whatever, but I didn't. I used to try to talk to her, but she wouldn't listen. I got heavy in the church at the time. Instead of her kind of holding strong to that, whatever, being happy for me, that same day, she had an argument, right after church, over something stupid. I'm a real big saver, and I was real big in preparation of things. From my boot camp, which was like 2 months, core school, another 2 months, and a little bit into my first duty station, it was I think around 7-month period, I had $7 grand saved up. Because I knew I wanted to marry her, I had to get a car, I had to get a place to live, and I seen other buddies of mine that was in the military, they didn't have nothing. I'm showing you at a young age, I'm 18 years old doing this, that I have the qualities to make sure you're taken care of, you going to be safe, and for you not to respect me and follow my leadership, whatever. I should have seen that red flag and be like, nah. And it got to the point, she was leaving. I'm trying to work on a relationship, whatever, she be gone. We had a son at this time too, because she was telling me hey, the reason why she wasn't happy because we didn't have a kid, so we had a kid together. So now she taking the kid away from me, leaving, then she'll come back and say, I'm sorry, and then she'll do it again, come back. And then I was I was exhausted. I went on deployment, came back from Afghanistan, found out that, she was pregnant again, so I found out that child wasn't mine. I'm thinking, we got the fairy tale, we got the daughter, we got a daughter and a son, and, I got my legacy now, everything complete. And to find out, when I getting off the plane coming back from there, nobody's there. I found out my son was in a car seat. He was in a car wreck without his car seat. Had scars on his head. She had drugs around the weed and stuff like that, whatever. She spent $30,000 of deployment money. I fought for full custody, whatever. I won. She didn't show up. Us growing up, our moms trying to teach us, be so sweet, be so nice, and, give her what she wants and all that stuff, happy wife, happy life type of deal. And I found out real early, saying that, hey, it don't work. And I didn't say, oh, screw all women or nothing like that, whatever. I was like, hey, I made bad mistakes. Like I told you earlier, like decisions. I seen red flags before I did it. So I'm not just gonna be like a victim and stuff like that and say, oh, how can you do this to me, blah, blah, blah. I seen it. So I should have like, hey, nah, we not ready yet. We no kids, and I would have been in a better position. I didn't think she respected me enough. I noticed, hey, when I say, hey, all right, we moving this way, and then she like, nah, I'm moving this way. I seen the great divide, right? You with me, whatever, but you gotta let me make this decision, because at the end of the day, if we homeless or something happened to us, they not looking at you, they looking at me. The less confusion you bring to a man, the more the man is able to think whatever to be better in the world. When I was in my first marriage, I wasn't thinking about getting into real estate. I was just thinking about how I'm fixing this marriage, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm stressed out at work. Now, my wife now took that away. All right, how can I provide for her more? How can we do this while we're young, so when we old, whatever, we ain't gotta worry about much? Just like my stepdad just passed. Let me make sure when we get to that age, you don't have to work. You good.
All right, y'all. What you guys are muted right now.
This
There
one,
we
he's
go.
like,
You put me back into it, man. I was feeling it again. Nah,
you see him?
I got PTSD.
He's getting
Yeah,
very, I guess, emotional with that bit, because he was talking about his real life. Like and I love the way you edited that video.
that's
You got to
great.
do
I
more of those.
appreciate it.
You got
I
to do more of those.
appreciate it.
People definitely will appreciate it, because it gives a sense of, like, when you watch what's that show, Snap type of feel, like
Right.
it's very serious. I love that video, but
Good thing I ain't snapped.
yeah,
Right,
no, for
right,
real.
brother, right.
That's the thing. And this is his life, or was. That would actually happen. And every time I hear it, or when I used to, now I don't try not to think about that stuff, because I try to be drama free. But it used to piss me off that someone could, do stuff like that to a nice person. Why? If you don't want to be with this person, then just don't be with them. You don't have to screw them over, to make their life miserable. I think that that's very selfish, and it's not a good character trait for anybody to have. Because he has to live with that the rest of his life. Like, as you've seen, he's very serious. He, got very sensitive for that, because that is like a snap situation. And I believe people don't understand what you do to others. They could react in a way that you may not be thinking about. So you got to not only protect them, but you got to protect you. You can't sit here and think, oh, I'm going to get away with this. How many stories have came out last year with, I'm just going to use men right now, men snapping on their wives, and it ended in a fatal result, right? Because some people literally can't handle it. Unfortunately, everybody's not in that mind space to be extra tough, because you're talking about their life. So I think we all have to make sure whatever we do to somebody, just know if you want to get that consequence with it. If not, leave them alone.
Yeah, the crazy thing about that too. Say if I would have snapped on her, only thing, and actually thought about that too. Only thing that would have been on the news is, soldier coming back from Afghanistan comes back and hurt his, and I would have been in jail. That's it. They would have knew none of the backstory. They would have knew none that happened. They would have knew none of that stuff. But because they don't push out the real information, and then everybody would have looked at me as, oh, how could he do such a thing, right? You know what I mean? So that's what men, I always tell men, you know what I mean, you have to be way more accountable in this society than women. It is what it is. So you have to, you know what I mean, you have to hold a lot of stuff back. You can't really show your emotions like that. And you know what I mean, it is what it is. You got to understand reality. So hey, what's up, Makeda?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm gonna come back to you, Lady Di, but I wanted to ask James. So part of the reason that I made that short video, it was two reasons actually. Number one, I'm really big on black men telling their stories, because a lot of times when I'm interviewing women, they don't think men experience anything simply because we don't talk about it. So I wanted to create visualizations of men's actual stories, men's trauma, and the whole nine. So my first question to you is, Why do you think so many men are reluctant to talk about what they've been through? And then the second half of that as well is a lot of the comments that I saw, especially under this video, were from people in the military, and they were saying this happens a lot in the military.
Yeah, yeah.
So why don't men talk? And then what is it about the military that leads to stories like yours?
I think a lot of men don't really talk about it because they feel like a lot of people don't care. So a lot of times when we tell people what's going on, or we tell a woman what's going on, honestly, they laugh at us like, "Hi, you got played." You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I see stories like on Wendy Williams and she giving them terrible advice about what they do in their relationship and stuff like that, and people they would tell them, they'd be like, "Hey, I'm doing this to my husband," blah blah, and then they'll laugh like. So a lot of guys like, okay, well, why tell my story when they're gonna laugh at me, right? But that story was for most men to show them like, hey, I made it out of it. So a lot of my military brothers, I tell them, you know what I mean, because some of them be going through the same situation I already been through. Like I had to tell one of my sailors, you know what I mean, recently, because he was going through this similar thing and lost his house and everything, you know what I mean. And he had this house before he got married, lost his house, lost everything, So I was telling him like, hey, what I went through and how I made it out of it and everything. And the crazy thing about it, this guy was a lawyer. So if he lost it, you know what I'm saying? Like what can a regular person do? So this is what we go through in this society. So you have to be ready, you have to be mindful, you have to understand about like self-deletion, you have to understand about all that type of stuff so you be prepared for it, so you don't do those things. And
Why do you think it's?
oh yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll say the reason why I think it happens a lot in the military, I think a lot of women per se don't understand the military life. Military life is very stressful, especially for the service member, but also for the spouse. So they're coming out of a town where I mean, they was called, they was like kids, and then they moved somewhere, and then in next 3 years they moving somewhere else, right? So a lot of times that can be draining on the woman, and she's not really built for it. So my wife, she's was a military brat. So her parents was in the military. So she had some experience with moving around. So it didn't really bother her as much, rather than it would bother somebody like that's like a fresh and new. So a lot of them don't understand like the stressors that the man is going through at work, coming home, or being deployed, or being away for 6-7 months. Sometimes some people be gone for a year. So a lot of people don't really understand like the sacrifice those military spouses make too as well. So a lot of stress be on them too. So I want to respect the ones, and even the ones that's holding it down. I really respect the ones that holding it down. Like I know Bella is one. She's a military spouse. I see her in the chat earlier. So and a couple other people that we know. So it's a very hard thing, but it's like with the and us being gone for so long, it's hard for some women to kind of keep that glue together, because a lot of them we less driven today in today's society. So
Absolutely, absolutely, and again, I want to appreciate you for telling your story, brother. It's really really powerful, especially as a fellow black man. We do need to speak up more, at
exactly.
least to each other, so we know that we're not alone. Because I think that's what leads a lot to the self deletion, like you're saying. It's like
Yep.
brothers feeling isolated.
Exactly.
So thank you, brother. That you speaking up really means a lot, and it took bravery, and it took you know what I'm saying? It took manhood and masculinity to speak up, man. So shout out to you. Lady Di, let me come to you. So how were you able to, number one, how were you able to kind of understand where James was coming from? Take all that in and give him back healing energy to build him, to reaffirm him, to give him a sense of peace. And a lot of times we talk about men's job being to protect their woman. We don't talk about women's job partly being to protect their man emotionally,
Yeah.
right? So what is it that, as you look back, you were able to do to protect James?
So I had to, for one, be myself, right? Show him that first of all, I'm not that woman. Show him that I'm the one that's going to be there when you come from your deployment. I'm going to be there and then some. Be very connected and nurturing in a way. Like, how do I say? Like, if he's coming home from work, since I was a stay-at-home mother at one point, be there very let's say happy with him being home. Don't be upset. And not that I was upset, I'm just saying some woman will find a reason.
Yeah. Let me stop you right there, my bad. So that's one thing that kind of like I never came home in the almost 10 years we've been together and she had a frown on her face. Never. I never came home and she had like a frown.
I didn't know that thing. I just be like,
yeah. She's always happy that when I come home. So, yeah,
and I think that helped his healing, like showing him that I'm real. I'm a real, genuine person, and I want this relationship with you. That helped him heal, because if, let's say, he was by himself, single, and then a single father, he's gonna be like, no woman out here is good for me, and he probably would have been part of that passport bros, right? Because he think in this society, since he got played however many times, especially by his wife at the time, that all these women are no good. So I had to give him a sense of, no, that's not true. I'm here. I'll be there for you. I'm here. I want to do this. I want to do this. And he could see like I was putting in work because I wanted to. And that helped him heal. It helped him be able to think about the goals that we had, which was business, and execute that. He had a clear mind. He was able to pass some tests to, upscale his military career. When he was with the previous one, it was hard for him to do that because his brain was clouded with drama and hurt and pain. So if I gave him that happy space, which that's what I wanted to do anyway, it helped him get past those things and like, okay, I could be married again. And that was part of his healing process, that I think.
Absolutely, and I don't at all want to take any credit away from James, because even during our conversation, brother, we talked about how you even talked about being a passport bro, like before it was a thing. You talked about maybe, hey, I might need to go on and go to, you know what I mean? So like, what kept the flame in you? Like what kept hope in you to be like, you know what, I'm gonna give this girl Lady Di, I'm gonna give her a chance. I'm gonna see what she's about. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. Like, how were you able to muster that level of courage, man?
Yeah, it's just a connection black men and black women have together that kind of kept me like to give it another shot. And that was number one, because when you go into different cultures, it's going to be like a hard like integrate one another. So that was one of the things. Like, so it's so much easier for me and her to go visit family, and what I mean, we can do the same thing. Electric slide. We got stuff that that we know that we do. Like the food, everything. So that was kind of what still kept me together. And it was just a hope of, hey, it's somebody out there. I know some good women out there, especially black women. Let me just take my time and find one. So, but I'm thank God that it didn't take me that long. So
Absolutely. Listen, guys, we've shout out to Bella Rings. She says this live stream is so beautiful. I agree. Are you guys interested in taking some callers?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. All right, y'all. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat. If you're interested in dialoguing with James and Lady Di, please click that link. We're gonna take probably the first. We're gonna take the first couple. Let's see how many people come up, and then we will call it a night. All right. So it is now in the chat, and while people are coming up, is there anything that you guys remember from the video that you feel like you didn't elaborate on completely? or you feel like you didn't, you know what I'm saying? I should have said, you know, when we in the shower, we're like, yo, I should have said this. It's usually with arguments, but like, I
Yeah,
should have said this. And when he said that, I should, is there anything that comes to mind for you guys?
I had some, but I forgot it because it's been a while since I watched the video. But I did have some things that I did want to clarify, but I had forgot it.
So like when there's a part two to a movie, but you got to go back and watch the first one.
Right, right,
We
right.
didn't even do that.
Yeah, we should have
I
did
feel
that.
so bad with my
Yeah,
Nah,
own
it's all good.
video.
It's
Um,
all good.
I think I've seen like one comment. Because most of all, I think I haven't looked at all the comments. I think most of all the comments was good, and they was like were very respectful and everything. I think one
Right.
comment was I think I said something about the red pill thing. and
Mm-hmm.
and I think the guy was talking. I had showed my wife. She was he basically called me a beta, and I was like, bro, you don't understand what I was talking about. Luckily, somebody in the comments understood what I was talking about, but yeah, that was. I think that's the only. But most of all the comments was like very respectful and. You know what I mean? It was things like I was agreeing with some of the comments. Sure, I wish I would have knew this back then too.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that's why you know what I mean us putting this story out it helped. I'm glad it helped a lot of people. So
yeah.
So I
Um,
see a super chat right here with for Corey. Corey says, in reference to military folks, a lot of times the silence of men is a protection of sorts and pressure hardens men/women's hearts. Being an Air Force brat, I personally seen folks break.
yeah,
Absolutely, man. What would you say to that, James?
no, that's facts. Like a lot of people break. They accept deletion. It's a lot of that, even in the country, and out of country stuff. So I mean, a lot of people they can't accept it. They can't take it, and just being in that life. So we go through a lot. What I mean, even with our bodies and stuff. Like I tell you something like personal. Like I always feel pain in my body, no matter what I'm doing. What I mean, just what I mean, carrying those packs. You got 80 pounds on your back sometimes. You got to carry other humans, what I mean, other places and stuff. So, what I mean, it's a lot of things that we kind of go through that a lot of people don't really know too much about. And when we come to the States, like this supposed to be our peace, but that stuff you never forget it. You never forget like being ready to hurt someone. You know what I mean? And I don't mean hurt someone, but you know what I'm talking about. So
Right, right.
like it's what I'm saying. So coming back to this is supposed to be like the resting place, but it's hard to rest here too because you still have those same tendencies when you was deployed. So it's kind of rough for a lot of people. So a lot of people, like you said, they break.
Absolutely, Lady Di. How were you able to kind of because you're not in the military. You know, you haven't been in combat. How were you able to understand what James had been through and create that soft place for him to land?
so honestly, I never really understood because he didn't share it with me.
I ain't telling nothing.
He didn't like saying that his body's always in pain. I found that out a year ago, and I'm like, we've been doing all these activities, especially he used to play almost every sport, and you now telling me that your body's hurting all the time. It makes sense for the things that I was seeing, and I'm glad I got the understanding. So the only thing I could like when he used to go out in the field and sleep in a tent for 3 days and those obvious things I've seen, I always just try to make sure I was there on the phone or making sure that whatever I say to him is positive, trying not to say too much negative things. And so he could look forward to coming home because there's really nothing I could do for him there except try to make the time go by fast. But there was times I couldn't even talk to him. So as long as he know when this is done, he could come home to something that's peaceful. I thought for me that was able to help him a lot.
Oof, man, absolutely, absolutely. I think especially as a black man, like we have to fight the world, and I think James, you talked about it. So to come home and have to fight you too is
Yeah, yeah,
we don't talk enough about how that could break a man. So thank
Yeah.
you, Lady Di. Thank you for
yeah.
leading by example.
So
We got Mr. Mays in the back. I'm gonna bring him up and I'm gonna have him talk to you guys and ask any questions. What's going on, brother?
yeah,
Hey,
how
what's
you
going
doing? How
on,
you
guys?
doing?
How you doing, Alan? Always a pleasure
I'm
to be on the
good. I'm good. I'm
show.
good.
Mr.
But yeah,
James.
man, I'm gonna drop down and let you guys talk.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So first of all, thank you for having me on, Alan. As always a pleasure. James, Lady Di, greetings to you all. God bless you all. Mr. James, thank you for your service. My sister and brother-in-law, they're Air Force, Navy, respectfully. So I got the military background. So I wanted to talk to you, James, particularly. I saw your video and I was like, damn, like it's crazy. Even guys in the military go through stuff like that. Of course, I've never served, but of course I had family serve. My grandfather served. Of course, like I said, my sister, my brother-in-law, they served, so I had that sense of respect and understanding, in a sense of like, oh, just be here for them, just love my nieces and nephews when they're, but I wanted to ask you, you talked about, not wanting to be a passport rose and everything like that. I don't want to go there, but in my life experience right now, I've never been married. I have no children, but I want to be where you are right now.
Exactly.
You have a woman that loves you, that respects you and everything like that. But it's just like, damn, and I saw it and I commented this in the chat. I said, his story is the epitome of doing all the right things, making sure you're financially straight, you're active in the church, you do all these good, you're in shape, you have all these good qualities about you, but you get cheated on, you get disrespected. And that's where I'm at right now. I tell people all the time, women tell me, oh, you're so nice, you're so kind, you're amazing, you have all these good qualities, but I don't want you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to go too deep into my heartbreak story, but my thing is, what did you do to shift your mindset to say, okay, how can I still be who I am, but like put it all together this time?
Yeah. So what the number one thing I did was become more vocal. So I tell all men, like, if when you're in a relationship, become more vocal. If she's out of line or saying something or doing something, women actually love that. So the crazy thing about women are confused in today's time, right? So so they'll tell you, hey, I don't like this, right? But they actually do like it, right? So now with a guy, like, so say if we talking and like, hey bro, I don't like that you did that. I'm gonna think, okay, this brother don't like me, I disrespecting him. That's all right, cool. We on the same page, right? With them, they can say, hey, I don't like this, right? And then the next relationship they with that guy they said they didn't like. You know what I mean? So we have to understand, like, a lot of times we have to give them what they need rather than what they say they want. So we have to, like, so looking at you, I know you're very logical, you're a passionate person. I can tell by like how you talking, how thoughtful you are as a man. And I know that you're intelligent too as well. You in tech? What do you do for a living?
No, I'm not in tech. I work in food service. I love to cook. I love to eat.
Okay. You look like a tech brother, man. So
that's good. You like to cook. Okay, that would bring a nice feel to any relationship. But
yeah, and I've never been the traditional guy. Like, for example, I grew up learning how to cook, because my father always instilled those skills in me. These are life skills, because you're going to be living by yourself one day. You're going to have to learn how to cook. You're going to have to learn how to take care of yourself and do all these events. So, and I grew a passion for just cooking because I used to eat everything all the time. My thought process was, if I'm going to learn how to eat it, why not learn how to put it together? So that was my thought process. And I'm glad you jumped in, Lady Di, because we were just talking about how women can say one thing and then alternative, like, so from a woman's point of view, I was telling James here, I am where y'all, I want to be where you are. I'm a single man with no children, never been married, right? And women would tell me all the time, oh, you're such a good person, you have all these good qualities about you, but I don't want you. You know what I'm saying? Well, they won't say those exact words.
Yeah. They're not with you, so.
There's a lot of static. Sorry about that. But from me talking to a woman's point of view, like, you could look at me and without saying it, think that I'm a simp, or you may think that I'm beta male. So, Lady Di, what are your thoughts on like simp, beta male culture, like that rhetoric?
So, there's a lot of women who don't, quote unquote, like these guys they're with them, but they don't like them. And they're with them because they still want the marriage, they still want the kids, but then they in their brain don't respect them. Why they don't respect them is a silly reason. So in order for a successful relationship to happen, you have to have a very mature woman that understands more than just these little things that doesn't matter. So she has to look at the longevity of why she's even wanted to be with you long term. And the end goal is to not divorce. You want to be there, a two-parent household for you and for your kids if you have them. And if you don't have kids, you want to be able to not quote unquote be alone. That's the one of the reasons why people get together, because they want to live life with somebody. So as long as she has that full understanding of never divorcing, that's how you know that you have someone that is real and wanting to stay. Now, finding that type of person, I believe that you should be very proactive into always going to dating groups, matchmaker type, like fully. I'm talking about every week. Every week that should be your priority. Because if you wait for a woman, or if you're always, let's say on a dating app and you're trying to reach out to women, I don't think all that stuff would work all the time. I think that you have to be out there. So start looking up events that, one day we're going to have this. It's just that it's not right now, but we plan to. But look up events. There's events out there that can help you find the one, your love. Or so you start with matchmaking. There's businesses that actually do that, and they can help you find genuine people. And you could literally be there looking at like 10 different women. They looking at you like, okay, I like him. And then you settle with 5, and these 5 women want you. Cool. Now you pick which one you want. You want to put yourself in that situation. Don't wait for these women to come to you. And no, you got to really be out there.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll be honest with you. I do those things. Like I've been speed dating this year, which I did that for the first time. I had a good experience. And so I don't go out expecting things anymore. I just want to go out, have a good time, and let's see what comes to fruition. Because in my experience, like 9.999 times out of 10, if I approach a woman, she's going to reject me. I'm just keeping it real, And so I just come with the mindset that, you know what, I'm going to be out there. I'm just going to be single because I want the woman to show me, because you show your husband that you want him to be that person. You showed him that when he walks through the door, you got a smile on your face. And I'm going to be like, come here, baby, give me a hug. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of person I am. You know what I'm saying? I want to hug you. I want to hold you. You know what I'm saying? I want to show you that affection. That's just me as a person. You know what I'm saying? So I believe in reciprocity. You know what I'm saying? I believe that if I do X, Y, Z, there should be a balance, for lack of a better way of saying. Not saying that, oh, you should cook and clean all the time, because it may be a day where I come home, I could be tired from work, and I'll still want to put some food together because, hey, I want to eat too. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to give you all the work. You know what I'm saying? So we should be able to balance off of each other. And that's the kind of love that I want. But I feel as if that I'm seeking it. But all I'm getting is women that want to make me pay for them. You know what I'm saying? Women that, say, oh, they'll like me and they'll put me on their arm, but be like, or I may shoot my shot, but then they'll be like, whoa, you're doing too much. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a straight shooter. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keep it real. If I like you and I want to date you, I'm gonna step up and be like, hey, let me take you out. Let me get to know you. Let me plan a date, because here in Atlanta, they say the dating scene is trash. So be like, oh, guys don't do this and guys don't do that. Well, I do. I plan dates. I want to do these things. Why aren't you hollering at me? I'm here. Hello.
I think one thing that I would tell you, like some advice from like how I'm seeing you kind of like your act. So with women, they want you to be more stern, right? So like work on being more stern, because you got everything else. It's just they might think you soft because how you kind of talk and how you come off. But I know as a man, you're not, right? But they might interpret that because they don't know you and they don't really know. So a lot of women don't understand how men operate, right? So I can see you and I respect you. I can't mess with that brother, right? But they look at this like, oh man, he's soft, or he's, you know what I mean, he's not this, he's not that. So they're just automatically. So women, they try to find quick reasons to turn you down, right? Rather, we try to find reasons to bring you in. So we have a totally different approach. So if you come at it more stern, more aggressive, like whatever, I think a lot of women will kind of like come at you. You know what I mean? They'll kind of see you as, okay, he's not nobody to play with, because they want to be the men. They want you to be the men amongst men, right? They want the alpha, right? But then they'll tell you they don't want you to tell them what to do. So they're confused, bro. So just understand that. And I think you're good, bro. Keep your head in the game. I think you, even you being in the show, listening to this and warning this, I think that's a blessing, and you're gonna make a great husband one day. So, yeah,
I believe so.
Absolutely. Mr. Mays, final thoughts, man.
Lady Di, were you about to say something?
Just real quick, I was gonna say that don't feel bad because someone rejected you. I rejected people in the past, and sometimes it was because they portrayed like a too nice type of thing. Not that I wanted an asshole, but sometimes I would think that they're not gonna take me serious. So when he says stern, it's just you're showing like, oh, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to take care of you type of like approach. Because when a man comes at me with like acting like what's a good example? Something that's really nice. Like, I don't know, think of like a nice male teacher in school. Hi, how are you guys doing today? Type of like I'm trying to explain it.
What's that?
I'm the nice male teacher. Well, I'm not a teacher, but I work in the cafeteria. But I'm that guy that they see in school every day.
Just think of like, quickly, just think of like, you have to kind of say the same things or be the same way to everybody, right? But when you're dealing with a woman that you want to get, you can't talk to her like you talk to them. You got to talk to her in a different way, like showing her that you are serious by the way you're saying it. Like, I guess the tone, maybe your tone has to be very different. So I rejected guys for that. And there was one guy in particular, which was my ex fiance, right? Where he was like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give him a chance. And I did. And he wasn't what I thought, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Well, I'm done. Thank you for having me on again, Alan. It was a pleasure meeting you all, James and Lady Di. Take care. God bless.
Absolutely.
Nice to
Take care,
you.
brother.
Thanks, man. Good job.
All right, y'all. So I got a question as a super chat from Condemned Ya. Shout out to you, brother. He says, can't call in, but I have one question. What were 3 things you both realized you would have to compromise on or sacrifice in order to make marriage work with your significant other?
You want to go first? Or you go
ahead? So the 3 things for me, keep the question up. Thank you. The 3 things for me, so being that he's from the South, I'm from the North, the way how we speak is, and I'm not saying every New Yorker, but the way how we speak, even how we walk in the street, we don't say hi, how you doing to everybody. We just walking. Like,
that blows me too. I'm like, yo, like y'all don't speak to each other? Like,
no, because too many, like, so we walk that straight line to where we going. Ain't no stopping, ain't no none of that greeting stuff. So with having that mindset, I had it in the relationship. So what that means is how I say things may be severely direct, but it wasn't sweet, or I should say feminine, right? So I had to, I don't know if it would be a compromise or sacrifice. I had to learn how to be what he's used to. And it should just be kind of like how it should be. I don't want to say me changing into what he's used to is me changing. I can't be a New Yorker. I think that being that way isn't good anyway. So let me learn how to be more, I guess, more nice when I'm saying stuff. So that's one thing I realized for a woman, because I know a lot of women are very masculine today. So that's one thing for sure. And so I was the only child up until the age of 17. So I was just a little selfish, not in a way where I can't be with somebody, but I was selfish over little simple things. So I had to compromise that. I had to be more selfless, and I became even more selfless. Now I'm like, I'm more, well, here, this is what you need, and I'll wait. So I became overboard. And thirdly, that's really it. Selfless was the biggest one, and the being very feminine.
Sarcastic.
That's the feminine part. I'm still sarcastic now, though. It'll be coming out in some of my videos and my reels that y'all be watching or shorts. I'm still very sarcastic. I just try not to be like that all the time, especially with him, because he's not having that. So those two things is like three together. So yeah, go ahead.
All right. So with me, so I was like a minimalist. So when she first like moved into my house, I didn't have cable. I didn't have no like kitchen table. Like I had like the only this stuff to survive. So like bringing her into the picture, I was like she wanted all this like luxury stuff and cable and stuff. I'm like, get out
That's
of here.
not luxury. That's a necessity.
Nah, so yeah, so she like what? Then she didn't want just cable. She wanted all the channels and stuff. I'm like, we not even much here like that. But she, I wasn't here like that. But she was here. So, but you know what I mean. So that was one of the things. Like I had to like one of the small things I compromised with. One thing, another thing was just being more graceful, because coming out of my situation, you know what I mean, I had to understand like I'm not going to be like 100% trustworthy of women, right? Because of what I've been through. So I had to like make sure I realized, like, and I just did this on my own. Like she didn't have to tell me this. I wanted to make sure that I was actually giving her a fair shot. You know what I mean? And like I just wasn't just, oh, you know what I mean, all women are like this, or you just like my ex type of deal. I made sure I didn't say those type of things. So that was one thing that I had to make sure I gave her extra grace on. And another thing, let me see. You remember some things I changed? Because you wanted me to change them. Oh, she wanted me to like be cleaner. You know how like women always, and then when I become cleaner, she's not okay with that. But you know how that goes.
What are you talking about? That means you ain't clean enough then.
You know, so it's like I want you to clean my way. Right?
Yes.
So I was like, all right, you clean then. So you know what I'm saying? So that's what
but those type of things people break up for. So it's simple, silly things.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, I want to appreciate both of you guys for telling your story, for being a part of this series, for sticking together, for doing the hard internal work to make your marriage work. I think we don't see enough examples, especially in our community, of black marriages working. So shout out to you guys. I wish I had, some sound effects for a round of applause, but thank you guys so much. Do you guys have any final thoughts, any final things you want to leave the audience with before we wrap up here?
So anyone that's new to just, I guess, being on this platform, watching us live, please go to our channel and subscribe. We are looking for more couples to join our lives. We go live every Friday. So whoever that we can help on a live stream, and like I said, that's free, because we do also charge on the back end at datingtomarriagesupport.com, where you can see that. But we really want to display, it don't have to be always negative unless you have an issue that you want us to help you with. Come DM me at Lady Di DTM. That stands for Dating to Marriage. Lady Di DTM. DM me on any platform and we could schedule something. But yeah, we would love to just, help the community more, and everybody's story can help. Everybody, could relate in a different way. So I just want to say, just please subscribe to our channel and be there in our lives so we could, support each other.
Absolutely. If you guys are watching for We Need to Talk, please head over there, click that subscribe button, check out some of their content, and just comment something. Comment and said, I'm here from We Need to Talk. Let them know. James, were you about to say something just now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm about to say something. So I would like to say, guys and ladies, like, change your mindset of how you view relationships and how it is, and you'll have a better success rate of getting with someone. So a lot of times we destroy ourselves before we even get into a relationship, because we think it's going to be hard. We think it's going to be hard to find somebody. So whatever you're doing right now is not working, right? So try different things. So have a different mindset of how you're looking at relationships. I walk past women all the time. They looking all mean, they looking all ugly. And I'm looking at like, if I was single, I never want to date them, right? So just change your mindset of how you view, smile at people, be more open, and I promise you, you'll get better results. And this is what we all about. We have to bring families together. I want y'all to produce good kids and be with them kids. So I have daughters for my 4 sons. And I want them to have a flourishing family as well, and we can actually build something. We have a great opportunity right now, because a lot of other races are not producing kids, right? So if we keep our kids, we start producing more kids, we'll be at a stronger percentage of the country. If we don't change the things right now, we're going to go down a path of no return, and it's going to be hard for us to even have a voice in this country. So if we want to actually gain some power, we actually want to do something, we actually want to build business, you're going to have somebody on your side, and that person's going to have to help you through it. I won't have the business that I have right now if it wasn't for my wife right here. She made a lot of sacrifices, just like I made a lot of sacrifices for her to even be able to be at home, right? So we have to work together. We have to fight and to stay in these relationships, and we have to build with one another. We have to come together, and we also can actually build successful big business, and we can have our own Chinatown. We can have all these different things that we are jealous of other communities that have, right? So we can have that to ourselves. So if you look at life differently, you'll get way more out of life. Don't look at how your parents looked at it or your grandparents or who all these negative energy. You can find somebody successful. Mr. Mays was on his show. He's looking for a woman. A woman, if you thought he was attracted, DM, get into his DMs or whatever, and try to build a relationship. It's a man that actually wants him. If it's a man that wants a relationship, those are the best husbands that y'all gonna get. Y'all want a happy marriage? Get with those guys that actually want to be married. Stop going for the same guy. Those guys, you're not gonna get anything. You're not gonna be able to build like you want to build. So we have to change our mindset. We have to change our ways, and then we'll be more successful. We ain't gotta be marching on the street. We can actually be doing something, right? Because marching ain't got us nowhere, right? So we have to do something. We have to put our foot down, build these families up, build an army, and we can actually get somewhere.
I like what you said. Be with people that want to be married. That was a bar.
Exactly. Yeah, brother.
You better support your husband. I like that. That's what's up. That's what's up. But listen, James, Lady Di, thank you both so much. Maybe at some point we'll do in the next 6 years. We'll do another one. Okay, what have we learned after another 6 years? Yeah. No, we're gonna stay in touch. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Bye bye.
Peace. All right, y'all.